What's up, everyone? Welcome to Bluegrass State of Mind, the show where three college roommates talk life, sports, and all the ridiculous things that happen in an apartment we like to refer to as Room 302. We're bringing you stories, hot takes, and the kind of late-night debates that probably should have stayed in the group chat.
So grab your headphones, sit back, and get ready for a wild ride through our past college life, sports, and everything in between. Let's get into it. This is Bluegrass State of Mind.
Well, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. Room 302 is back. We officially have Mason, Dale, Roland back with us. Bulldog is with us. And myself, DG, Killa, Dylan Drills is here. Fellas, good to see you all. As you can see, I'm ripping my Knicks shirt. Go New York, go New York, go. I had to wait until the championship. Well, no. I had to wait till the championship was over before I could actually put it on. But, I got to thinking about this before we get into tonight's episode. I mean, seriously, though, think about this. Taking into consideration, if you all were New York Knicks fans, okay, looking at the state of Kentucky, Kentucky does not have a professional NBA team, okay? I have never had a specific team. I've always been a player fan of LeBron. Haven't switched up. Wherever he goes, that's where I go because I'm a LeBron fan.
Same.
Would you all, if you are, let's just take Colton here. If you are a New York fan and you grew up in New York, would you not accept someone like me to be a fan? Because it's not like I had a team. It's not like I have, I'm from a place that, has. I mean, would it not be like if there's anybody you can inherit and be like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I feel like that would be a case where it makes sense. Because
maybe. You would think, but I think the New Yorkers are a special brand. They're a special breed.
They are. I'm not claiming to be.
You may sit there and say what's her name when Monica McNutt there on the broadcast, and they were like, Taylor Swift's down there, and she's like, get her out of here, not a New Yorker.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't matter where she's at, or where she's from.
And I'm not claiming to be a, been through it all with New York, a forever fan. That's not what I'm saying. I just have decided, okay, it's time to get an NBA team because LeBron can't play forever. So
let me ask you this.
Okay.
Will New York be your favorite team forever now? Since you have a team now? Or
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to claim a team.
Okay. So you're a Knicks fan for life.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be a Knicks fan.
All right.
That's why I'm
it's going to be DG, Spike Lee, Ben Stiller, all on the sidelines.
And you best believe I'm going to be repping some BSM, baby. Bluegrass State of Mind. All right. Let's get into tonight's episode. Got a lot going on. We keep thinking that college basketball is going to come to a close. The book is going to end, per se, and we're going to flip over and we'll get into some college football. But there's just more and more news that just keeps getting thrown out, which is good for us, and it's exciting. So that's where we're going to start off tonight. We're going to kick things off with what I guess the blockbuster of the day in news headlines is Dusty May. Dusty May is leaving Michigan to become the next Dallas Mavericks head coach. He's leaving college to go to the NBA. There's a lot to this to unpack because, first of all, you don't really see a lot of NBA franchises go after college coaches anymore. I mean, can you all think of any, on the top of your heads that's happened recently other than Billy Donovan?
I think that you haven't seen that happen, the transition, but you've definitely heard of it going after.
Well, I'm talking about direct though, that, Brad Stevens, is one. I'm just saying, usually most NBA franchises, whenever they go and try to find someone, they're branching out in the NBA. They don't really go to college for a head coach to take over right away.
No, I agree. But I do think they tried for Dan Hurley.
Yeah.
I do think the Lakers tried for Hurley. I do think Jay Wright at time when they tried for him before he retired. They tried for Cal.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a few that they've tried with for sure, but you haven't seen it much.
And I think part of that, it's changing now, right? Like how many of these coaches don't want to deal with this anymore in college and NIL and all those things. So that's probably part of this. You're probably going to see it more is what I'm getting at.
Well, and you're talking about a guy in Dusty May who, 3.5, 4 years ago was kind of a nobody. I mean, until he took Florida Atlantic to the Final Four. Then he was able to bring those guys back, then take them to, I think, maybe the round of 32. Then that's the next year he's at Michigan, has a really good season. And then, so in the span of 4 years, the man went from possibly what I was hearing and seeing as far as record goes, being fired from Florida Atlantic to now going to be the head coach of the Dallas Mavericks. Talk about life hitting you quick. And he's an older guy. I think he's supposed to be 50 is what I'd heard. So just and why that shakes and why that's important for Kentucky, let's just get on into that. Is well, obviously, we are after a big time get currently. First time we're going to be mentioning on the podcast here because it really didn't bring light until later towards the end of or the middle of last week, I felt like, and we'd already released our episode. But Mr. Nicola Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
I don't know. Costa Rica, however you want to say it. Who is this guy? So he is a 6'8", 17-year-old Serbian wing who is currently playing for FC Barcelona's system and is one of the top international prospects, supposed to be a lottery pick, top 10 pick in the 2027 draft. So not this year, or not next year, I'm sorry, the year after that. So it'd be a 2-year contract, so it'd be 2028. Just a couple of stats, and I'm going to throw it over to you all, is looking at like what he does on the floor. In the 2025 FIBA 16 under Eurobasket League, he was the MVP. He averaged 20 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game. He was the tournament MVP for Serbia. And then in the 2025-26 international competition, which consisted of 34 games, he averaged 11 points per game, 5.8 rebounds per game, 1.7 assists, and 1 steal per game. So this guy can play ball. I mean, he's one of your international guys. He's your typical stretch who can shoot the ball, has pretty good handle, not thick, obviously, by no means, but is considered a top prospect and will be a guaranteed 2-year guy because he's only 17. Now, let's start talking about why this is important for Kentucky, and this is where I'm going to let you all take over, is that at one point, Kentucky was in the lead. It was like, okay, you might as well put it pen to paper. Kentucky's got this guy. And this was kind of, I think, a shock to everybody. We're like, what in the world? We just got Milan Momcilovic. Now, where's this guy? Like, I thought we were done, but hey, we'll take it, like, good for us. And then all of a sudden you hear at the end of last week that Michigan has kind of taken that lead, or at least making a big stride for him. So now, taking into consideration today, Mason and Colton, Dusty May is out. So, what does that mean for Kentucky and Nicola K? I'm just going to put Nicola K until I know for sure. Or does it mean anything? Yeah. Or is it just too much? It just doesn't mean much. What is your take on what this means for Kentucky?
I mean, in pre-NIL, it would have been huge, right? I mean, you would have saw that. In NIL, I don't know. I still think it matters, obviously, but I don't know that it means as much when you're staring at a check. Because how much more does the coach matter when you're staring at a check? And he's obviously going to be highly paid because he's going to be he's going to sign a multi-year contract. Michigan is obviously has a high NIL package. I mean, one of the richest donors in the world. And so I do think it'll matter. I mean, obviously you're coming off a national championship and you have a coach that just won a national championship. So I think it does make you step back as a recruit. But I do think that there was already, 1 or 2 guys today, the McKinney guy and some other guys that were like, I'm staying. Even though I'm staying here.
So I didn't hear that. Or I didn't read that. So Trey McKinney. Okay.
Trey McKinney's already said that he's staying. So if he's staying and the roster ends up staying, then maybe it doesn't affect it as much, right? Maybe this guy's like, okay, look, I'm still going to get paid here. They've got a good roster. They can make a championship run, good foundation. And I'm sure they may be just going with the interim. I heard that they're looking to hire the interim, like the assistant coach is the interim.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But, I mean, they may be putting into ear like, hey, you're going to be here next year, and next year we're bringing in so-and-so, I don't know, Billy Donovan, someone like that. And so I think there's more of a chance, though, that he stays than that would have been NIL, stuff like that.
Yeah. Mason, the only bouncing off of that, what Colton is saying about the Trey McKinney and whoever, I don't know, I'm assuming maybe like an Elliott Cadeau, is those guys, I think make sense. I think they make sense to stay because they were in the system before.
They know the coach.
They know the coach. They've been in the program. I think the more interesting thing, though, here is like taking into consideration, obviously, the guy who we're talking about right now, Nicola, but also someone like J.P. Estrella from Tennessee. These guys who ultimately transferred to Michigan because of the reputation that Dusty May has built with big men. You're looking at all of his rosters, who he's played, how he's played them in the system, and how good they've been the past 3 years. I think that is kind of where I think that you may see some hesitancy of whether it be Nicola or whether it may even this JP guy who might be, I'm sure, is getting a bunch of phone calls because the whole reason they were going there was because of Dusty May. But now because he's out, they don't really have that attachment. They don't have that history of being part of that run the past 2 years. So what's your thoughts on it? Is it time for Kentucky to hammer down? The way that I'm looking at it, Mason, and I'm going to send it over to you, is I think at this point, I think it's time to play your Rick Pitino card. Like you straight up tell him, like, listen, dude, and speaking in reference to Nicola, hey, we want you. We've told you we want you. We've got a bag. We've got money. We've got a roster spot for you. We know how good you are. We can elevate your game. Here is our offer. Take it or leave it. Because the waiting out game, we saw how that played out with Stokes. And it almost looks as a sign of weakness. And Colton, whenever you come up and brought up that about Rick Pitino, like I hadn't even heard that, but as soon as I heard that, I was took back. I was like, man, that's a boss card. Like that's kind of what I want my coach to do. So that's where I'm at with the whole situation. Like, it's time to lay it down. Like, hey, dude, here's our offer. Take it or leave it. If not, we're going to move on. We can go get somebody else. We have a great roster right now, a good roster. So you can either elevate us or you can go somewhere else. I mean, it is what it is. This is the University of Kentucky. Let's get back to that status of, hey, we are who we are. Mason, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't know if it's true or if it's just rumors, but I had already read something about how, it was kind of leaked that we were basically in the lead, basically a lock, and they were kind of using us as bargaining chips. Like I said, I don't know if that's a rumor, but I did read that, and then it kind of comes out that, oh, now Michigan's in the lead, or, UCLA's kind of stepped in too. And, to talk a little bit about as a recruit, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, if I was in this position as far as like a JP Estrella or this guy, I mean, I think you obviously have to take a step back, because whenever you're looking at these programs, almost all of these programs, let's just say UCLA, Kentucky, and Michigan, are probably offering very, very similar NIL packages, right? Like, it may be off by $500,000 or $1 million. But to me as a player, like, I'm sitting back here thinking, okay, I'm a projected lottery pick, right? I got 2 years. Where do I go that's going to best fit my game and is going to help me grow, right? Like, $500,000, yes, that's a lot of money, but I'm a projected lottery pick. I'm planning to go to the league. I'm going to have plenty of money once I get there. So I do think NIL does play some sort of factor, but I still think at the end of the day, like, all of these offers are probably so close that I do think this plays a role in Nicola, just because I'm sure he knows the other coach, but who knows, this coach can come in and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, exactly like Dusty did, right? It worked, and that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But he may not be able to execute it the same way, or he may not do the same thing. So I do think it plays a role.
Well, and another thing, talking about that, you made a good point and brought to light, thinking about, like, elevating my game in the future. Like, Nicola, surely, maybe not, but, looking at the future, you know you're going to be a 2-year guy. Who's Kentucky have coming in next year already? Oh, wait, 5-star Ryan Hampton. Who is in talks of bringing in the cousin, the number 1 player for next year? Oh, Kentucky, possibly bringing in Marcus Spears Jr. So then you're looking at yourself thinking, okay, maybe I need to be looking ahead and looking at, okay, I know I'm going to be here 2 years. Why not square up and go with Ryan Hampton and possibly Marcus Spears? Maybe I can help that. And then us 3, like there's so much thoughts that go on in this whole situation. But Colton, do you think that Mark Pope and Mason, he talked a little bit about it, but do you think that Mark Pope needs to draw the line and it needs to be settled in 2 days? Like, we need to know. Or is it one of those things that you think deep down that we just need to let it play out?
I think that you could actually let this one play out. Just because I think this one came out of nowhere. We thought that we had our roster set, right? We've been basing it on the roster that we already got. This guy's already going to have to be a 2-year guy anyhow. And from what I've read, the odds of him having much of an impact in year 1 are not likely. Like, they're saying, like, from what I've read, like, he could be a pretty solid player, but at 17 years old and the physical shape that he's in, like, not being that big a guy, the odds are he's not going to have that big of an impact the first year. The idea would be the second year. So maybe because of the coaching change over at Michigan, maybe you don't be like, hey, maybe you are kind of catering to his, like, hey, we can develop you here. We know, but like, now look, Michigan's, they don't have the same coach there. Like, but now, I mean, there's different factors that I'm sure he's thinking too.
Yeah.
I mean, he may be thinking lottery pick, and then he's probably thinking, okay, which coach is best known for developing big talent or NBA type players, and all of a sudden, who are we going with? Who, like, I don't know the guy at Michigan now, so I'm not saying that he's the guy. I'm just saying, like, if that's kind of his mindset, where's he looking? Because that's not really in the pool that he's choosing right now. No more that. So
let's kind of get into, and then we'll close this segment because we got a ton to talk about tonight. But it's good stuff. You brought up Billy Donovan. Like figuring out Dusty May has left, who they going to get? Well, it's probably going to be the intern. What we've read and heard is going to be the assistant. However, though, had they went for someone such as a Billy Donovan, do you think that would be a headline for the state of Kentucky?
Oh yeah, that just caused chaos.
See, I don't 100%.
It just would. Well, I mean, it would for the ones that are already completely anti. I know we're hard on Pope, but there's not a one of us that wouldn't love to see us go 30-0 and Pope be here for the next 10 years. Like, if that's the case, like if he's that successful, like if that's the guy. But there's also that part that's like, if we were to not achieve this year and we were to miss out on getting Billy Donovan.
But how can you even have that perspective? You got to wait to see. I mean, like, we have a whole season. Like,
that's just where we're at.
But that's where you because you can't mess it up again. We can't go back again. Like, and we're not to the point that we're not going to steal guys away.
But I don't think that that's messing up. I don't, because like, what can you do about it? Like, I'm just
you can't do nothing. No,
you
can't do anything about it. It's just a matter of it's going to make headlines. Because there's going to say the ones that said, why didn't we, when Billy Donovan, when he left Chicago, why did we not go ahead and do it?
Those kind of people, though, are the ones who really don't know nothing.
You're right. They're the extremists.
They just think that you can wave a wand and go do whatever
they're the extremists, but they're also the ones that cause chaos, which is what I'm saying will happen.
Yeah. And I think it's to the point now where everybody's like, okay, this is kind of the make it or break it year for Mark Pope, right? And he's one of the options that everybody wants. So if he's taken off the board and then Pope doesn't do well this year, then everybody's kind of sitting back, like Colton said, like, well, why didn't we jump on him when we had the opportunity? So I think it's just some of that hesitancy where people are like, we're not giving up on Pope yet. It's just if he doesn't do well, that was an option that a lot of people wanted, and he'd probably be open to coming back now that he's not with Chicago.
But you said something there that I kind of question. And I don't know where I'm at with it, but I think it's debatable. You said there that Billy Donovan is someone that everybody wants, or like they know his name and will go get him. And that's the kind of thing that I don't know, just because of
I'm not
where.
saying I would absolutely want Billy Donovan, but a
Right,
lot of
right. But
people
I'm just
do.
saying,
Yeah.
just because of where college basketball, like Colton has alluded to already with this whole transition, and yourself, Mason, it's so different. It's not just going and coaching some freshmen with some juniors and seniors and soft, like it's not like that at all. At the end of the day, you can say, well, it still comes down to coaching. No, it comes down to a lot more than that. And that we'll end it there. And why I'm saying that it comes down to a lot more than that, that's going to segue into our next segment here. Kentucky has hired a new athletic director, and that is Mr. Jay Batt. That is correct. J, as in one letter J. If you've not heard by now, he has one letter name. His name is actually Jason, but he goes by J, the letter J. He's 44 years old. He comes from the University of North Carolina, where he got a degree in journalism and mass communications. He played men's soccer. He was a national champion part of their run. Some of his past stops, and for the ones who already know, like, oh my goodness, they're talking about this has been old news. We've not had a chance to get on here and talk about it. For some of you all, we may spit out some new information, but some of his past stops that he has been to is he was there during the tenure of Alabama. He was a deputy AD under Greg Byron. He also was the Georgia Tech athletic director. And then most recently, before coming to Kentucky, was the Michigan State athletic director. Fellas, if there's one thing that this guy is known for, he is money, 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 money. The man is a fundraising machine. I want to spit some things out to you, and then I'm going to let y'all take a hold of it. At Georgia Tech, he helped lead a record fundraising numbers, including a school record $78.2 million in athletic contributions and a $500 million facilities initiative. $300 million was pledged during his tenure. At Michigan State, he launched major fundraising revenue generating initiatives and a $1 billion campaign focused on facilities, NIL, and future revenue streams. During his time at Alabama, now taken away from the money, he spent 5 years there during one of the most dominant eras in college athletics, and he worked directly in the football operations, revenue generation, facility projects, and fundraising campaigns. And the last thing for you all is the one thing that I'm seeing and reading is if anybody had a critique, he just doesn't stay long. He was at Georgia Tech from 2022 to 2025 and Michigan State from 25 to 26. A little bit of information, but just giving you all a little bit of background. I know you all know, but for those who don't know, that's a little bit of information about Mr. J. Batt. Who is your new Kentucky athletic director? Mason, what's one thing that, as soon as you read that he was your guy, I'm sure he was kind of like me, didn't know a lot about him. So you had to read up on him, hear what everybody was saying, listen to some of his interviews. Did anything stick out to you? Or, yeah, what stood out to you?
Yeah. So first thing, I think was it Matt Jones who had asked him about that? Like how long? I don't know if y'all saw his response, but basically he talked to his wife and they plan on their kids, finishing school here. Somebody can say whatever they want, but why would you want to leave somewhere like Kentucky? Honestly, I feel like he's kind of just been working his way up to get to a powerhouse. But one of the things that stood out to me, which hopefully he doesn't have to worry about, he hasn't had the most successful hires in his tenure as ADs with like coaches. So when he was at Georgia Tech, I think it was right after Josh Pastner, he brought in Damon Stoudemire, I think. Didn't do very great. I think there was one at Michigan State. I don't remember their football coach's name. Didn't do very great, short stints. So with where we're at right now in the Mark Pope era, it worries me. I know he has a lot of good aspects about him and, has done some great things, but just his track record with the hiring of coaches, and they were just talking mainly about like these large revenue generating sports, right? So football, basketball, basically. He just hasn't had a whole lot of success in hiring when he's had to do that. So that worries me a little bit. Hopefully we don't have to worry about that, like I said, but in this Mark Pope area, you never know.
Did he not have a little bit to do with the Nate Oates hire, though?
I do think he did.
He might have.
I'm just throwing that out there. Like that's a good, really good hire.
I'm just talking about when he has been the
When
AD.
he's been lead. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
He may have had something to do with it, but when he's been an AD, he has not had a great track record with coaches.
And Cohen, when that's a good point that Mason brought. I didn't even think of that, but when thinking about that, kind of gets into a new shape, a new landform, new era of looking at an athletic director. Maybe a case where he's just like, listen, I'm going to be able to bring us the most money. I'm going to be able to generate all this money, so my money is going to talk. Now that may be. I don't know how he's going. I'm just throwing that out there. Like that's just. It's a new era. You're not going to be looking at a Mitch Barnhart who is, grumpy old grandpa. We're looking at a money making machine from what I'm reading and seeing. And money can't do everything, but in today's era, it does a lot. Colton, what was maybe something that you was thinking about when taking into consideration with Batt leading the rim?
Yeah, so I was talking to Mason about this earlier. I think he did an interview with KSR, and they simply just kind of asked him, how do you like really engage the fans? Like because remember the Mark Stoops pony up comment that everyone that was started kind of being the downfall of Stoops in part of a way because he was like, you got to pony up. I would tell the fans to pony up if they want to compete. Well, hey, so they kind of asked him essentially about that, like how would he approach that, and he said whatever you are as a fan, he said I'm not going to sit there and ask you to write big donor checks. I'm not going to ask you to come up with a bunch of money that you don't have. He's like, but what I would ask you as an entire fan base is to do one more of whatever you are as a fan. He said, if you wear a Kentucky t-shirt 3 days a week, wear one 4 days a week. He said, if you buy tickets to 4 games a year, buy tickets to 5 games a year. He said, if everyone will do just one more of whatever type of fan they are, he said, if you fly one flag, fly 2 flags in your yard. Like he said, and that's the thing, because I guess, there's probably something, you went to buy a Kentucky flag. There's probably something there that gets, Kentucky that money. And that's all he pretty much said. And I thought I really liked that comment. I thought, man, that's really knowing the fan base, right? Because yes, you have your big donors in every program, and they do matter because they're the ones paying the most. They're sustaining a lot of these things. But when you have the type of big blue nation, the
working class,
the big fan base, and the working class, when you go from the eastern mountains, like the miner that Cal brought out, right, the coal mine, like those type of guys that are known Kentucky fans, they're not going to write. They don't got the money to write those type of checks. So, I really liked his approach on that. He's 44. He's a younger, so he's obviously more up to date. I like the direction our programs are going by getting younger, because that's, maybe they're more modern, maybe they're more understanding of how to deal with today's NIL, all the craziness in today's college sports. And so I think he's got a good grasp on that. Now, like I said, he hasn't been anywhere long, but he did act like Kentucky was a destination job. I'm sure he probably acted like that when he took the other jobs also. But how much bigger can it really get than Kentucky? Truthfully, yeah. I mean, so.
Well, and it's at a great spot with, you have Will Stein, who is rolling right now. You have Kentucky basketball has not been rolling, but at least is in a better state than what they were at, looking at the future and what's to come, hopefully, this season. You have the girls basketball team. Kenny Brooks has a stacked roster coming back. Women's volleyball, men's baseball team should have made it to reach like we have, like, it's a good place. And I'm sure I'm missing. I don't know about soccer. Don't know about hockey. Our hockey team's pretty good.
Our soccer teams are usually good.
Okay, so
like our boys soccer team at least is like
so
top 5.
Right. So I mean, like, it's a good place to be. I'm going to feed off that, and then we'll get on to our next segment here. Is one of the things that I loved is just whenever he's talking about the fan base in general. Like he said something along the lines that you're going to get tired of seeing me, like, and that's just a complete 180 from what we had. Like whenever I was at Kentucky, I went to 2 Kentucky basketball games this past season and had a pretty good view. And also attended the SEC tournament. Every time that I was there, I saw a glimpse of Mitch Barnhart at the beginning of the game in the corner with dudes in suits and ties. And not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm not saying that that's wrong. That's not what my point here is. And that would be it. The point is that going back to who is Big Blue Nation? We are Big Blue Nation. Like people like us that, we're not going to be able to go to all these games. We'll be able to go to maybe a couple a year, if that, at most. Even Colton, even you have season tickets, but they're in the rafters. But how many games do you actually get to go to? By the time you're working, you got a life to live. You don't live in Lexington. It's just not possible. It's not feasible for at least us at this point in our lives, But like we're the kind of people that we are a Big Blue Nation. So I want to, he's got to back it up. Like you can't just say that. Like you if you're going to say those words, Big Blue Nation, Mason, that's one thing. We will keep you at your word. So if you're going to say that, I better see you out shaking hands, fist bumping, talking to the crowd. Don't just be over there in your little corner talking to the uppity ups, as I like to refer them to. Like get to the people who are paying their hard-earned money to get to these games. Not saying you got to go sit in the seats with them, but at least acknowledge some of them. So, anything else on Mr. J. Batt, Mason, Colton? All right, let's get into Kentucky's basketball schedule release. This is a little of a controversial topic, one that whenever I'd seen this, I immediately wrote it down, was wanting to get into it. But let's start off. I'll kick things off with the non-conference, and then I'm gonna let you all talk about the conference. But we'll bring it up. We'll all talk about it. So when looking at our non-conference schedule, Kentucky is playing Manhattan, James Madison, Kansas, Northern Arizona, Grambling State, Indiana, Virginia, Bryant, Louisville, North Carolina, Sacred Heart, and Gardner-Webb. So a good variety. Like you hear the big names, the North Carolina, the Louisville, the Indiana, Virginia, the Kansas, and then you also have your, your easy games, your Manhattan, your should be James Madison, Northern, and so on, so on. Mr. Dick Vitale, he's a PTP player, baby. Decided it was time to go to X, aka Twitter, and throw shade at Kentucky. He tweeted, "The at Kentucky men's basketball has many cupcakes on their pre-conference schedule and 5 legit challenges. BBN Cats fans and players deserve a more challenging schedule in getting ready for the at SEC, especially having a team with all caps with over $21 million in NIL dollars." Now, I love Mr. Dick Vitale. He's been through a lot, and I hope he continues to battle. But he needs to take his Twitter fingers and go on home. I've heard this, and then I'm gonna let you all get into it as well. I don't need somebody from the media telling me how to feel. I don't need somebody else who is not a Kentucky fan to tell me how I need to feel about our schedule. And to be honest with you, I don't mind it. First off, Mason, who is actually going, unless you have a contract when we did with Indiana, like where you go home and away, or Gonzaga, who is actually going to come to Rupp Arena and want to play Kentucky for a non-conference schedule? I just don't think there's a lot of people that's going to want to do it. I don't. So at that point, it's kind of like, okay, who are we going to get? Are we going to get somebody that could be a mid-major that could actually maybe beat us? Or are we just going to do, one of these cupcake games? Like at this point, I think of, you think of Miami, Ohio. Doesn't really matter who you play it sometimes. It just means do you win or lose. Now, when you get in the SEC play, that's where it gets a little different. But for me, this like I don't want to go on too long because I could go. I want you all to talk, but it's aggravating to me because it's like you can't win for losing. You can't lose for like if we scheduled the hardest schedule in the world and then we go back and we lose 4 or 5 games, then there's going to be people saying, why did we schedule all these teams that are like, this is way too hard. Like, what are we doing? Like, we need to have some wins, some momentum. And then we do this for momentum, probably sakes and money, obviously. I think the biggest thing is that it's at Rupp Arena and people want to see good competition at Rupp Arena. That's what it comes down to. I'm gonna let y'all talk. Colton, Mason, whichever one, go ahead. What did you think about our non-conference schedule, or in particular, Mr. Dick Vitale's comments? I'm not a fan. I just ain't.
You're muted, Mason.
I mean, I'm not either. I really don't understand why he said this. I feel like this is what every team does, right? Like you have games at the beginning of the season to work out some of the kinks, go against different competition, right? You've been playing against each other for the past 3 months. Like you have these cupcake games to get the kinks worked out, to build up some momentum, and then you have a few tough games before you get into the conference schedule. And sitting here acting like we play in the Sun Belt Conference, like no, we're in one of the best conferences in the country. Like it's not like we're not gonna play any competition the rest of the season, right? So like 5 out of our first 12 to 14 games or whatever it is being tough competition, I think that's perfectly fine because you don't want to come in here and have 8 to 10 tough games. You haven't got everything figured out yet. And let's say you lose over half of those, then your momentum, your confidence, everything's killed, right? Like you got to have some of these lesser games. Like you said, these home games get people to come in, it brings in money. I really don't understand where he's coming from, especially because the SEC has went from one of the lower Power 5 conferences in the country, to being one of the best conferences in the entire country. So we're going to get that competition. I really don't understand it at all. I don't get it.
Colton, is this a prime example of whenever people state like, "Oh, what are you talking about? Kentucky is not still a blue blood. Kentucky is not relevant." Is this a perfect example why Kentucky, regardless of where we are at, we're still relevant? We have one of the best, one of the, I don't know, top 3, top 4 commentators in college basketball ever, probably, and wants to just throw shade at us out of everybody. Like, do you think that has any, like, does that just say it as it is? Like, hey, Kentucky's still relevant no matter what. We just want to go ahead and throw shade at them.
For sure, because I'm guarantee you could go and look at other schedules that are decent sized powerhouses, and there's probably don't even look as good as theirs. And look, he's probably just because everyone's always called him Dookie V because he seems to always love Duke. And look, I will admit Duke's non-conference schedule so far is packed. They play, last I checked, they play Florida, Michigan, UConn, Michigan State, Gonzaga, all non-conference. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty stacked. You have UConn, Florida, Michigan. I'd say they're all going to be probably top 10 teams.
How many more at Duke though? At Cameron Indoor?
Oh, I don't know if any of them are.
And see, that's what my point is.
2 of those are part of that deal they just signed. Isn't
exactly.
It? Yeah.
Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, there's only so much you can control. Like, who is going to go to Cameron Indoor and play an elite, like, unless it's in conference for a non-conference game? Not many people, like, or not many teams. So, like, there's only so much you can do. But go ahead.
But yeah, so I think that probably has a little something to do with his comment because he saw some of their schedule and was probably like, oh, look, here's Kentucky and Duke. They get the comparison here back and forth. And they have that type of schedule. Well, also, but then you, like, as you said, DG, they can turn around and when they go to the ACC and they beat 75% of the teams in the ACC by 30 because they're terrible. I mean, it really evens out, right? They're not playing Florida, Tennessee. They play North Carolina,
Alabama.
They play North Carolina, and Louisville will be decent this year.
Miami will be good too.
Right, Miami. I mean, there's 3 or 4 teams, and they may only get played some
Virginia.
of those once. Right, but they just still. I mean, and even those teams, like they're decent because they look decent in the ACC.
Well,
Louisville looked decent in the ACC, but they weren't real good outside the ACC. I mean, they didn't win in top. What, they lost to every single like top
Top
10
Kelsey
match,
doesn't
top
have
15
a top
last
something
year.
win since he's been at
Exactly.
Louisville.
So I mean, they look better because they were playing other terrible teams in the ACC.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
they
beat
beat
us.
us. They beat us.
I was gonna say we were a top 10 team at the time.
Were we a top 10 team?
I don't think we were a top
Maybe
10.
at the time. I don't know if we were a top 10 team at the time, but were we really a top 10 team?
No, I'm just saying. I think we were. Were we not?
I don't know, but we were never a top 10 team.
I don't know.
We
But
were maybe top 25.
we were as far away from
Maybe
it.
when we were at our best.
Yeah, so I think that just has a little bit to do with it. I think he's just probably comparing us to Duke a little bit, and so everyone knows he's kind of got a love for Duke and Coach K, his connection with him. So I think that's immediately where that came from.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know. He reminds me a lot of Jay Billis. Can't stand that guy either. We're just throwing multiple shades here as well on Bluegrass State of Mind tonight. All right. Let's take a break from some basketball. We'll come back to BSM from the stands. Actually, I want to go ahead and do that. Let's get all the basketball done. Then we'll get into
Sure.
the U.S. Open and then finish with a little game. So, Mason,
Yep.
What you got for BSM from the stands?
BSM from the stands. I think it was a couple episodes ago, and my screenshot obviously took out the name of who it was, but I will figure that out. But they commented, and we were kind of talking about this team and what we liked about this team, and they said, I think this team will be able to score with or outscore just about any team in the country. If they end up to being able to play solid D, people are in trouble. Seems like everyone is almost scared to express that. They think this team can be really good, in large part due to the disappointment from last year after most of us believed we had something special. I see the pieces, and they are all large, and they fit together very well, even better than the year one team. Mark my words, this will be Pope's best team so far, and they're going to make us proud. So I guess, when I read this, I feel like we've kind of talked about this, right? Like, the feeling that we have right now is like, we think this team can be really good, but I feel like we're kind of hesitant because of what's happened in the past. Like we don't want to get so hyped up like we did last year. So I know we talked a little bit about it. We talked a little bit about it with Nicola, but Dylan, just like now that we've really got to sit back and kind of look at this roster and look at this team, and it seems like Post picked up some momentum a little bit, with recruiting and things like that. What do you think? And this can kind of lead us into, we could kind of give our record predictions here if we want for next season. I know we just talked about the non-conference schedule, so just kind of tell me like how you're feeling about the team itself, and we can go through and give our predictions for the records next year.
I mean, it's what I've shared on here a little bit. I've told you all there's only one concern with this team that kind of, and Mason, I think that you're a little bit higher, more optimistic than I am currently. The only thing that worries me about this team right now is the point guard position. Can Mason Williams or Morton come in and be that backup guard that we need? I know that we can slide Wilkins if Zoom is out to maybe, and then play big. But that's my only fear at this point. Other than that, I mean, it's exactly what we've said too on this. Just like, I do not want to have that feeling of what we all experienced, what I was so happy and elated and just was like, oh my goodness, like this is the year we could hang banner number 9 after that Purdue scrimmage. And it was like, I just don't want that feeling of being let down. Are the pieces there? Yeah, I think they do. I think we have the pieces. I think another thing you're looking at though with this team is there's a lot of the unknown. We know what Milan is going to do, but then again, you also are like, okay, Iowa State and Kentucky, different conferences, different expectations, different schools. So then it's kind of like, okay, maybe he is an unknown. Zoom Diallo, Washington, different schools, different conferences, different expectations. Wilkins, coming from where he was. Furman, like completely like, so that's what I'm getting to. And then even like the Hawthorne who didn't play. The only real that we know is Marino, I feel like, at this point. Like, that's the only real one that we've seen and we know, like, okay, this. So there's a lot of unknown. But that unknown, at their best, which is what Colton is always saying, when at their best, do we have a chance? I think yes, we do. Now, am I firmly saying that? No. But there's why I say I think. Now, not watching them play any, seen highlights. I don't care about highlights at this point. I need to see them against actual competition. But
All right. Now, go through your non-conference games. Just count up how many wins you think we get there, and then I'll read off our SEC schedule.
okay, while I'm pulling it up, let Colton talk some because I need to
All
pull it up.
Cool, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I don't. I guess my biggest worry is still a score because I think I'm relying pretty heavy on Wilkins possibly being a star. Look, I know that Milan was the number one transfer. I also think he was getting to play next to an All-American in Jefferson. And I think that they were surrounded by a bunch of really good athletes whose main thing was to like speed the game up, where like Milan kind of went under the radar. I don't think he'll get to do that with us because I don't think we have guys around him that make him under the radar. Like, I think he is going to be guys that they're going to put their top defenders on. They're going to top their most athletic, longest guys that could make it hard for him to shoot. And if he's not a guy, like, I don't know how much true, like, shot making ability he has. Like, if we cleared out the floor and said, hey, 1-on-1, you got to get us the last shot. We got 10 seconds left. Is he that guy? If he's not, then who is? Maybe it's Diallo making a move to the basket and getting someone open. Maybe it's Wilkins cooking someone 1-on-1. Like you said, we don't know. But if we don't have that guy, that's my worry, is because we still don't know, which is why we were so big on the number one recruit. I've known Stokes, Tyrone Stokes, because we think that he has that ability, and we've kind of been wanting that guy. Owe was, Owe had his moments in that, but we didn't think he was really that skilled. We thought if he couldn't drive to the goal, is he really getting these buckets? If he couldn't get away with like the head drive and get to the actual basket, could he cook someone from 15, 17 feet out? We had those guys for a lot of years. We haven't had the first 2 years, and I think that's my biggest worry is maybe we got him. Maybe it's a surprise this year. But if we don't, could it come in to bite us against some teams that have some really, really good players?
No. All right, help me out here with this non-conference schedule, guys. All right, so we got Manhattan. We're just going to go through non-conference first.
Go through non-conference and just kind of like add them up on your fingers or something. Then we'll go through.
Yeah.
And we can just say how many wins we have.
Yeah. Just yell them off and y'all each add them up on.
Yep.
A win. Or Manhattan, a win. All right, are we doing this collectively?
You do it. You
just read them off
it,
and you keep them to yourself, and then we'll
keep
share
it to yourself.
Oh,
if you think you're going to win or not, you read them off, but then.
Okay, I got you now. All right.
Count on your fingers.
Manhattan, James Madison, Kansas, Northern Arizona, Grambling State, Indiana, Virginia, Bryant, Louisville, North Carolina, Sacred Heart, Gardner Webb.
Okay.
I'm going to go through the SEC home schedule here. Okay, so this is who we will play at home.
Okay.
Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas, Auburn, LSU, Texas A&M, South Carolina. Those are all of your home SEC games. Now, road SEC games. Florida, Georgia, Mississippi State, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Ole Miss. What you got, Dylan? How many wins?
I got us at 23 wins.
I had us at 22.
Mm.
It's like 17.
I had us at 20.
Okay.
I had us at 20. I think the road schedule sounded better to me until I got to thinking, Oklahoma kind of came alive last year and they kept a lot of those guys. Like they're like returning that same team. They almost won the NIT and they played their best basketball at the very end of the year last year. And that coach, I really like, I like that coach. Like, I think he's a good coach at Oklahoma. And so all of a sudden, on paper, when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, we got a pretty good deal. You go to Florida, probably not great for you.
Yeah.
And you probably split with Tennessee. Ideally, maybe you win both, but you probably split with Tennessee, whether you want to do it home or loss.
Vandy
kind of split.
I split Vandy. Lost at
split
Texas.
Vandy. Texas and
I did
Oklahoma are both ones that I think could. The X factors there would be to me like the Mississippi State Missouri games, right?
I had Missouri as a loss.
Hubbard's back again for Mississippi State. I mean, he's always a good guard. Yes, they haven't had much around him.
Play well at Missouri.
And Missouri's become a good team. Like they become one of those scrap teams that
they got
don't
top recruit too.
You're right. So those are the two I think. But if you find a way to lose both those, Mississippi State, Missouri, you're probably closer to where I'm at, the 20. But yeah, I think that's kind of
20 to 23 range is where we're sitting at.
I mean, I think our non-conference. I counted up. I think
I got 10.
I think I was 9-3.
I had 10-2. I had us either losing. I had us losing to Kansas and North Carolina, but you could flip flop that maybe.
I had us beating North Carolina, but I had us losing Virginia and Louisville.
I had us Virginia and North Carolina too.
And Kansas. I had Kansas, Virginia, Louisville.
I had I had Virginia because that's our first true road game.
Yeah.
Virginia. I had us beating Kansas actually. Virginia, North Carolina.
I had us beating.
North Carolina's on a neutral court though too, correct? Yeah.
Oh, it is actually. I'm at
No, because Virginia is the ACC challenge.
Isn't the
Virginia is the CBS or North Carolina is the CBS, and Indiana's on a neutral court. Indiana kind of got the raw end of that because they were supposed to host us at.
Yeah, they did.
But they end up putting it in a Indy Stadium or Indies. So
typical
Cambridge Fieldhouse probably.
Breaking news just in. Minnesota is sending Julius Randle and the number 28 pick in the NBA draft to the Brooklyn Nets in a 3-team trade that sends Nick Claxton to the Chicago Bulls. The Timberwolves will acquire Brooklyn's number 33 pick for Randle and number 28.
That stinks for Randle.
He's going to be in New York.
I mean, but not
just not with
the Nets.
Not with my Knicks, baby.
I was hoping that the news would break on Giannis.
I know.
Yeah.
And we can talk about the draft too. There's a lot to get to. All right, let's get into some U.S. Open stuff. So, real quick and short, U.S. Open was held this weekend at Shinnecock Hills Golf Club in Southampton, New York. This course is very, very tough. The winner, Mr. Wyndham Clark, winning score at 4 under, won by 1 stroke over Sam Burns. This is his second U.S. Open title in 3 years. His first one was in 2023. At LAC Country Club. He held the lead all 4 days. Came out firing, I think it was a 64 maybe on Thursday.
600, yeah.
There's a lot of headlines too that was filled up this week. You had Scottie Scheffler seeking his first chance at the Grand Slam. You had the Shinnecock in general, the way it was playing. You had Joaquin Niemann, who was punished with a 2-hole stroke of damaging and throwing his club. But then also it just comes back to Wyndham Clark. This was something that Wyndham Clark maybe he's going to take a big leap from here moving forward. It was a chance for him to redeem himself after last year's U.S. Open incident where he missed the cut line at Oakmont, then slammed lockers, had to pay for it. Just was not a good look. Went to therapy, and we know that Wyndham is a hothead, and I was kind of hard on him throughout the weekend because let's just dive right into that. Mason, I'm gonna throw it over to you. What is your feelings about the setup? Tee times in general, is it? I guess my question is, I know it's just how it is. How can you make it fair? But it almost is in a sense, if you want to go that route, that Wyndham Clark won this tournament on Thursday. I know you can't say that because he made a bunch of putts, and I know Colton will talk more about that as well. But when separation, looking at where he created that separation and was able to, have a little bit of money in the back pocket to have just in case. That's all what was done on Thursday. So what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, listen, if I was a professional golfer, I'd honestly be livid. Just because you have tee times for a reason, right? Like morning group one day, afternoon the next. Right? So why change the course conditions for that afternoon group? Because let's say it might play harder in that afternoon, right? But it should play harder for the afternoon group the next day too. So why are we going out there and changing the course conditions for an afternoon group and softening things and trying to make it easier? And that'll you could clearly see the difference on how the course was playing. I really I get if you think, oh, the winds are going to pick up, it's almost going to be unplayable. Part of it. The group tomorrow, right? The morning group, they should have it a little bit easier. And as the day goes on, if the wind picks up and it dries out and it gets firmer, then they're going to have a tougher time the next afternoon. But that's why you have these separate tee times. That's why you go morning, afternoon. Don't change the course conditions after you've already started. I really don't understand that. And I don't know. I would be furious. I really would. Like Scotty Scheffler, I sent it in the group. Scotty had a lower round every single day after day one. But Wyndham had that opportunity when the course played so much different to shoot 6 or 7 under. Nobody in that morning group was shooting 6 or 7 under. I don't care how good they played. It was not happening.
Yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. However, though, I don't want to take away.
I'm not either.
No, I know you're not. I'm just getting into Colton,
still,
getting into what Colton I know will probably say. Wyndham Clark made a bunch of big time putts. I mean, he done what you got to do at U.S. Opens. You got to make par putts from outside 5 to 6 feet. And he done it. And it was just I sent y'all a message on Saturday. I was like, there's no way this guy's going to make any putts tomorrow on Sunday. And lo and behold, the man was making them everywhere again. And it was so aggravating because I was really wanting Scotty to win. But, Colton, being the golfer you are, a little bit more experience than me and Mason, watched it longer, been a part of the game longer. Not saying that you're more deserving than us whatsoever, but what is your thoughts on that? Because I think that it is something. It is kind of but I understand. But where's your heart at on it?
I mean, I'll say this. I know we brought up Scotty specifically. Scotty's done the you might could have said that had Scotty's entire season not been circled around him having a terrible round one.
This is true.
I agree.
And look, he teed off the same time at Rory. Rory shot 2 under the first round. Scotty shot 2 over. If Scotty shoots 2 under the first round like Rory, Scotty shoots 4 under for the tournament. He finished even. So he had his chance. He blew it on day one like he has this year. It's just been his kryptonite. He's had one bad round. So I won't say that that's what cost Scotty from winning it compared to Wyndham, because he could have shot what Rory shot and he would have been the same score. And the fact of the matter is he still, I will give, and it also would have mattered if you had 10 guys from that afternoon wave on Thursday that was at the top of the leaderboard, all 6 under, 5 under, 5 under, 5 under, and then the next best score was even. Wyndham sat at the board at 7 under par, with the next best score being 1 under. Going into Saturday's round, right?
Yeah,
that's what it was. 1 under was the next best score. So
yeah, but he built all that on day one.
But there was 80 guys tee off in the afternoon. Why is he the only one?
But when you go from a morning wave who can't even stop a ball on a green to they're spinning it back in an afternoon,
And then
Tea
here's
time?
the thing: the morning wave, the greens got watered before the morning wave, and then
They
the
got
greens
watered again.
They got watered again. That was their plan. Is that they said we're going to water in the morning and we're going to water them right before the tea. So we're going to do it for both tea times.
Yeah, but they only did that. Why? Because they thought the wind was going to keep
The
on.
difference is that they thought the heaviest wind was coming in the afternoon, and it ended up coming in the morning. But that happens in golf throughout, and just the same way, Scott. I can guarantee you know what you didn't hear though. Rory never said a thing about that. Scotty never said a thing about that. And why is it? Because how many majors have they played where they were on the good side of it?
I'm not saying that Wyndham didn't play well. It just drives me crazy that if he plays in that morning round, he's not shooting 7 under.
Do a shotgun start, solve it all. Come on now.
No. That obviously doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
Live is falling apart because the shotgun start. You know what would have happened? Scotty would have finished on hole 3 the other day.
Well, nobody was there.
That's where Scotty would have finished.
That's another thing. Let's talk about Colton. An American was booed, and was like every single, almost every shot, no class. I think it really hit me on Saturday whenever I sent a message to y'all, and I was like, nobody's there. Like you could see in the grandstands on 18, the dude just hit 8, and it made me so mad, but it was such a good shot. His 3-wood cut on 16 to like 5
on Saturday.
Feet. Yeah. And nobody, I didn't hear a single call.
I mean, that's a shot. Like that's a
that's and like
I don't care win or no win. Like that's a balling shot.
But you're sitting there and you're like, oh my goodness, like nobody clapped. And then literally just about an hour probably before that, Scotty chips in on 13, 14, 1, and the whole course erupts. And like they didn't even have to show it. You could hear it on the broadcast, and I knew exactly who it was. I was like, that's got to be Scotty. And it took him a little while to get there. But getting into, I know the man's messed up. I thought he answered his post interview, and I don't think he could have handled it any better. I mean, he was just straight up. He's like, listen, I deserved, some of it. And it was a lot from my actions. And then even was saying like, hey, I get it. You know why people are cheering for Scotty, chance to see a grand slam. It's only happened 6 times now that Rory's done it. Yeah. Like I get it. However, though, this was my time. This was my chance. My turn. But Cones, you're a big person on respect. Not saying that we aren't, but I know you are. Just going back to the golf, like it's just a bad look for, especially it's one thing to do it in a Ryder Cup. A country against country, whether it be an American going for a European on American soil or Europeans heckling Americans on European soil. It's kind of like, okay, I get it. As long as we don't go past that boundary, that personal line that we've discussed in our group chat and that me and Trevor go at each other on. Shout out Trevor, my man. But we had an American on American soil getting booed.
Yeah, I think all of it's been caused from the Ryder Cup. Do y'all know? I mean, there's been a couple times, like remember Matt Fitzpatrick has won a couple times this year that there's been a couple of those type of tournaments this year where the fans have acted like that. And to me, it really started at the Ryder, obviously the rivalry, and I think it was just I think they let it go too far there. They let it go too far there without punishing, and they let it happen. And now it's just kind of popping up here and there around the courses. And it's kind of like set of precedents is like, hey, there's going to be someone in the crowd that's going to act like this about everywhere you go now, especially in these bigger tournaments when the bigger names go. And man, it's hard to see because yes, Wyndham messed up last year. He's acknowledged that. I believe in second chances. I believe competitiveness comes out. He didn't need to smash a lock. Yes, that's obviously he got reprimanded for that, but I think mentally he's probably in a better place than what he was right now. I mean, he was at the top of the game when he won the U.S. Open, and then for the last year and a half before this year,
he played terrible in the Ryder Cup.
He had been terrible. He had not been very good, and you catch a lot of heat, right? You catch a lot. I mean, all those golfers went through that. Speed, Fowler, JT, like they all go through these spurts where they don't win, and they're competitive. They're like, man, I've lost my game. I was at the top, I've lost it, And I can't imagine what that feels like, especially in Wyndham, like he hadn't. I'm saying, but I mean, like I can't imagine like in their aspect where they are like you're getting all this love, all this praise. You're at the top of their world rankings, and then all of a sudden you don't, and you're losing it. And in his case, Wyndham wasn't married. Wyndham didn't have kids to come home to.
Yeah.
Morikawa just had a kid, and he was like, man, he's like, it didn't. I saw his post today. He's like, I didn't have the weekend that I wanted, but I've got my new favorite holiday, Father's Day, right? Like that's perspective. Wyndham didn't have that last year. Now he is dating an Instagram model. And I'm just saying, since he started dating the Instagram model, he's now won 2 events and almost won a third. I mean, I'm just saying.
Mason, was I the only one who caught that right there? That's why I was laughing when Colton.
Are you talking about I wouldn't know that?
No, you said when I wouldn't know what that's like to be at the top, and I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious the way you said.
I don't know. I don't
know
either.
I just thought it was funny because I was like,
I would not know what it's like to be at the top.
Mason, I'm gonna do a little pushback here against Colton. I want to hear your thoughts on it. And I don't think actually not a pushback. I don't think that Colton may disagree with me here. I don't think he didn't say this, but when bringing up the Matty Fitzpatrick situation, I have no problem. I have no problem if it is a Rory and Scotty or a Matt Fitzpatrick and a Wyndham Clark, or if it's an American and European. I have no issue whatsoever of Chance USA. I don't. It's the booing that I would. Okay, that's crossing the line. Now maybe you may
for the booing.
Yeah. Even for European, like anybody, maybe Colton, you may disagree with that. But I'm all for it. I'm gonna rep America. I'm America, baby, America. Like USA. I don't think that's crossing the line whatsoever. It's just chanting, your country. The booing though, yes, that's where I'm like, okay, don't need to be booing. Unless it's at the Ryder Cup, and then you can boo all you want. I don't care. Just don't cross that line of making it personal. But Mason, this kind of leads into, we talked a little bit about the damage that Wyndham Clark had done at LA or at Oakmont last year. Joaquin Niemann, through his club, was penalized 2 strokes the very next day. Are we starting to see a transition of the PGA of America just saying, okay, enough's enough. Like, this is golf. This game was built on respect. That's what we're going to do. And, I think the Golf Channel done a really good segment there. And I'm not a huge fan of Brandel Champley, but I think that he does have a lot of good insight, and he is not afraid to voice his opinion. But he was talking about, you have these players who are just dropping F-bomb after F-bomb, hitting clubs against tee markers, throwing clubs. Like, kids are at these events. Kids are looking up to these players. And I will say that, like, that is one of the biggest things that, as a golfer, that I cannot stand. Like, I've never seen either one of you all do it, and I will never do it. Oh, you will never see me throw a club. I may get mad, and I may be like,
I may drop my club after I swing or something.
Right. But as far as the action of throwing a club, hitting a tee marker, I think it is bush league. But Mason, are we starting to see a transition of, okay, the players have way too much control. We got to do something about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the first thing that came to my mind is like thinking about it in a different sport, right? Like let's say a basketball player takes a ball and slams it on the floor, and bounces it 15 foot up in the air. Most of the times they're going to get penalized for it, right? They're going to get a technical. Same thing with, football. If somebody comes in and just
umpire in baseball.
Yeah, arguing with an umpire. If you come in and you hit somebody late, or you're throwing the ball, or soccer, if they just boot it in the stands and on the World Cup, like you're going to get penalized for doing things that are not respectful and the way that the game should be played. So I mean, I think it's fair to do that, and I think part of that comes back to like, I feel like the game of golf has started to grow a lot, right? With like different audiences, and you're seeing some of these, and you're seeing more of these actions from people out on golf, more people who don't respect the game, right? Like who go out there, don't respect the course, don't respect the people around them, all these other things. And I feel like this is where, part of where it has to start, right? Because like me, I don't go out there and I don't play golf all the time, but people watch golf, right? And if they're seeing these guys do it, then why aren't they going to go out there and do it? Right?
Do we blame YouTube golf?
No.
for
For
Fan
F1.
clubs?
for the trend and like
Growing
the way
the
that
game?
no, not the growing the game, but the different audiences that maybe now
I mean,
approach the game, right? Because I mean, obviously, there's a lot of. I mean, YouTube Golf's done a great thing for the game, but I'm talking about you get on some of the like the Bob Does Sports or something. You see some of the roasting, the friendly roasting. You see some of that stuff, but that's what people get on there for. They don't get on there to watch the golf with Bob Does Sports a ton. It's not like, oh man, we want to watch how good they do it because of the heckling back and forth. And while it seems like kind of harmless, especially on there, are their kids growing up like my nephew? You know, there's kids. My nephew's growing up watching YouTube Golf, and is he seeing on there? I mean, the language that he uses now is different than the language we used when we were kids, and it's because he sees a lot of it on stuff like
YouTube,
that. So it just
I got
question.
two things to answer that. One is, who are we looking at here? Okay, we're looking at PGA professionals, their actions. Are they watching YouTubers? No, they're probably not. So like that action is coming from them. Where is that coming from? That's coming from them themselves. Going back to the audience, I think you're talking about two different audiences. Somebody who's watching Bob Does Sports, that may play actions to their course, but as far as them going to play or watch somebody with the booing and the heckling and all that, I don't necessarily think that would be fitting the same category. I think if somebody does that, I just think it's two different audiences on the YouTube golf space and the PGA space. Now,
I watch both.
I know, but I'm just talking about how you will bring it to the course itself. You're not going to bring that to a tournament, but you may bring it to your own course. Does that make sense? Like the actions per se that are going on in YouTube golf space. But my biggest thing is like who's that? Joaquin Neiman, Wyndham Clark, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy. Like Rory, like he hit a tee and broke it. You know, Scotty was yelling at Ted Scott. Like that is coming from them. They're not watching YouTube golfers. Like, you know what I mean? So like that's internally from them.
And some of that gets caught more today than it just did in the
You're
past.
just being exactly. Very true. That's a good point.
Because you could see some old videos of some things happening from other guys like in the past that they did catch, but they didn't have the camera access that they could catch all that, the live end stuff, like especially the conversations on course like they have now.
All right, well, let's get in. We actually, if you are still with us, we're at 1 hour and 12 minutes. We appreciate you all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. But Colton, got a game for us to end the night?
Yes. So kind of simple game, but me and Mason were watching, like we were talking today while the Argentina game was on, and obviously Lionel Messi has had an amazing World Cup. So far,
nothing
5
to do with
goals.
soccer, Dylan. Don't
So we're not doing soccer.
No,
we're not doing.
I hear a lot of, me and Mason was talking, and then Mason says me and Colton were talking. I'm just sitting here thinking, like, how much work we actually doing? Are we just looking at sports? Are we watching like what we doing here? Huh?
Multitasking.
Oh, well,
And when's this released tomorrow? We'll have a meeting on our calendar.
For the ones who are out there listening,
their boss.
Whenever they're talking amongst themselves, that's good to know that they're actually in communication, because I can't tell you how many times I have to message these fools to say, like, if there would be no Bluegrass State of Mind have Dylan Gerald's not scheduled a time,
or like, what we do.
Like there's literally no, it's like, okay, like, are we doing it? No response.
Me and Colton sit there and be like, over or under 10.5 minutes before he texts us again.
I didn't text y'all. No, you are not doing that. I text you all. Let's see here. Let's see here. I'm going to pull it up. Where was it? Oh, okay. I text you at 6:40 a.m. this morning. Okay. Just being like, hey, we still good for tonight? I didn't text you till right at 11 a.m. 4 hours. Nobody responded. I'm like, okay, I guess we're not recording tonight.
Busy morning at work.
Yeah, but apparently it's getting this game up. A Messi, Argentina, putting bets on.
They didn't start till noon.
Oh, shut up. All right, Colton, what we got?
All right.
Our lunch break.
No, the game is simple. So I've got a randomizer. But what we're going to do is you're going to build a Mount Rushmore of goats. So you got 4 picks. It's any sport, anything you can think of. You're going to have four goats in your mind. and it's gonna be a snake draft. So whoever goes last will get to turn around and
Okay.
pick
We're
again.
choosing 4.
Yep. So you get to choose 4. So it's going to go by kind of quick, but just think about it. This is all sports that you can think of.
Okay.
So let's see who's going first. It is Mason is first, and then
LeBron Waka Flocka
and then
James is off the
then
board.
me. So it's Mason, Dylan, then me. So go ahead, Mason. So you're taking LeBron.
LeBron James.
Man,
What a terrible pick. Not even a goat in the sport.
I may as well.
What a crazy
just
pick.
get up and leave.
You just wasted your first pick on a known, not even.
Okay, I can.
voted.
Did you say I'm next?
You are.
Yeah. Oh, I'm absolutely not getting Michael Jordan. So you can have him at your third pick if that's what you want, because there's not a chance that if it's not going to be LeBron, I ain't taking that man. Get on out of here. Give me the real GOAT in football, Mr. Tom Brady.
Okay. I mean, that's a great pick. I mean, I am going to go Michael Jordan.
Okay.
For sure. And then I'm going to go Michael Phelps.
I knew he was going to say there's something about Colton loving Michael Phelps. America, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, he made me love the Olympics.
All right, Dylan.
Man, this has got real hard real quick. I guess give me literally don't know what I'm doing right now. Basketball, let's go. Football. Give me Muhammad Ali.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Right. I get 2, right?
Yep, you get 2.
I'm gonna go Tiger.
Good one.
LeBron and Tiger. And then
It got tough real quick.
yeah, give me Messi. Give me Messi.
Okay,
so
a controversial one could be between him and Ronaldo.
I got 2 controversial ones, but
you
they're my
do
goats.
have 2 controversial ones.
What is the guy who I'm thinking of that played golf, or not golf, hockey? Ovechkin.
Yeah, Alex Ovechkin.
Yeah, is that his name? Okay, I'll take him.
Okay. I'm gonna take Serena Williams.
That's a good one.
And I think I'm going, man.
I know who you're going to say.
I'm going to take Shohei Ohtani.
I knew it. All right, DG, last pick.
Just give me the Bear, Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
My last pick to finish it off here. I'm just going to go. This is probably a controversial one, too. I feel like I got a lot of controversial ones here. But, I mean, he changed the sport. My eyes, he's a go. Give me Conor McGregor, baby.
Conor McGregor. Oh, bringing out the okay.
That was like from left field. I thought he was going to, like, when he said change the game. Wow. I thought he was going to say Steph Curry. I was like, wait, he's not going to put Steph Curry. And then I was like, oh, he's going to say somebody football like Patrick Mahomes or something.
There we go. So Mason's got LeBron James, Messi, Tiger Woods, and Conor McGregor. Dylan's got who'd you get? Alex Ovechkin, Tom Brady,
Muhammad
Ali, and Jack Nicklaus. And I got Serena Williams, Michael Phelps, and Michael Jordan, and Shohei Ohtani.
So
pretty good. I mean, I don't know. So you all come up with your 4 if you would have been in our draft, or let us know who has the best Mount Rushmore of GOATs.
All right, fellas, went over a little tonight. It's all right though. Sometimes it just happens. Had a lot of information, a lot of good stuff tonight. Well, we appreciate y'all for staying with us this long if you have. And as always, go Cats.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
That's a wrap for this episode of Bluegrass State of Mind. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, Be on the lookout for our social media pages and be sure to follow them. We've got plenty more stories, insights, and conversations coming your way. And if you really loved it, make sure to share it with a friend. From the hills to the hollers, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep that Kentucky spirit strong.